Okay, so this is a bit of a different video I'm posting on YouTube today. Usually I only post these breakdown repairs on my site, but I thought this one would be a good one to put on YouTube. So the fault that the customer is having is they have heating but they don't have any hot water. So first thing I done was I just confirmed that the heating was working, but it was just the hot water that was acting up, and heating was working fine. So I was moving over, everything's all good. So next thing was doing tests on the zone valve. So usually it's one or two things with zone valves. One, you're not getting power to the zone valve, or two, the zone valve has just failed. So when I tried turning on the hot water on the programmer, the zone valve wasn't getting loose, but I could feel that the motor did not feel good at all. So from there I pretty much knew it was going to be the motor. So I had spare motors in the van for zone valve, so I went and quickly got one and I compared them, and straight away, as you'll hear in a minute, they did not sound or feel the same. So from there I knew, yep, just pull out the zone valve, put the new one on, and that's what this video is going to be, changing over the motor on the zone valves. So changing the motor is pretty simple. You just cut the two cables, orange cables, and reconnect them to the other two cables. To take off the head, it's really simple. There's just two screws where I'm pointing, and the head will come off. So then you take the head off, cut the cables, and then that's it. So I don't have my little GoPro with me today, so I've propped you up in the corner. So what I'm about to do right now is just put on the new motor head onto the base of the zone valve, and then once I've done that, then I'll worry about all the wiring. So putting on the motor for this zone valve is pretty simple. This is a Flowmaster zone valve, so you just have a little plate that goes on first, and then once the plate goes on, then you just pop the motor head on, and you have two screws. So I've just popped on the plate. I'm now just aligning the motor head with the holes, and I'm just about to pop in the screws. There'll be one screw on the right and one screw on the left. So straight away, that sounds much better to me. The old motor did not sound a foot like that at all, so pretty confident that just changing over the motor would sort the issue, but we'll have to wait till the end of the video to find out. So right now what I'm doing is I'm cutting off the cables from the old motor. So how it works is the motor has two orange cables, and those two orange cables will go to two different cables, which goes to the zone valve, which then goes into the wiring center. So all you have to do is just cut off the two orange cables and then connect them to the other two cables. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just cutting back the wires, stripping them, and then gonna be putting them in two special connectors. like an idiot, I dropped one of the connectors. But one thing I always try to do is when I'm doing something, whether it's connector blocks, screws, plugs, whatever, I always bring a few extra in my pocket, just so if I do drop one, then I ain't gotta go all the way back to the van to get it. So in this case, I actually put 4 in my pocket. I only needed 2, so save myself a little bit of time. So another thing I do when I'm doing connectors is I just give the wires a pull after, just to make sure that they're insecure and they're not going to come out. So as you can see, connected both wires up to the zone valve now. And next thing I'm going to do is just power up the boiler and test that it's working okay. So now I can see the zone valve moving over, and I can see that the boiler now gets a demand for some type of heat. So what I do is, because I'm already here, I just check to see which of the zone valves are loose. So I can see that the hot water zone valve is loose and the heating is not. So when I go over to the programmer now, I should see that the hot water is being called for and the heating is not. So when I take a look, yep, hot water is being called for, heating isn't. So that lines up fine. So what I'm doing now is I'm just testing that the other side of the zone valve is getting heat. I just want to make sure that the body of the zone valve is actually opening and is flowing through fine. But the boiler has only just come on and it's still in low flame, so I'm not getting heat just yet. So I'm just gonna figure out ways to tuck these cables back in nicely and put the zone valve back together, and then I'll give it a minute or 2 for the boiler to heat up and then take it from there. Okay, so that's it, everything's back up and running, hot water and heating's fine, the customer's happy. So just a quick overview of how I diagnosed this is the customer said that the heating's working fine but the hot water isn't. So when I came, I still just made sure that the heating was working fine, because sometimes the customer can give you false information. So heating's working fine, hot water wasn't. Mainly 2 things is going to be either 1, you're not getting power to the zone valve, or 2, the zone valve has just failed. In this case, the zone valve had failed. If you wanted to test if you was getting power to the zone valve, you just take off the front case of the wiring center and just test there. But I could feel from the, I don't know what to call it, the little tab, that the motor had gone. So took out the motor, put in a new motor, all good. So yeah, hopefully you learned a thing or 2 from these videos. Yeah, hope everyone has a good weekend, good day, good night whenever you're watching this video. But that's it from now. See you in the next one.